Hey guys, Katie from Katie's Classroom here. Today, the lesson is going to teach you about inverse functions. Sounds kind of scary, but I promise when the lesson's done, it will be less scary. So that's it. Here's the quick and easy way to deal with your inverse functions. Here is my first example for inverse functions. We have g of x equals 1 over x minus 2, and I want to know the inverse of this function. For me, it's easier to remember that I can write this equation as y equals 1 over x minus 2 as well, because switching the g of x and the x and solving is how you find the inverse function. So it's easier for me to think, okay, I switch the x and y instead of I switch the g of x and the x. So I switch the x and the y. Okay, that's what I did first. X and y have switched. And now I'm going to solve this equation for y. I need this to say y equals. So I'm just going to start moving everything that's over here with this y to the opposite side of the equal sign. So as long as you know how to solve equations, this should be pretty simple. So I'm going to move this 2 first by adding 2 to both sides, and I'm going to jump over here. So now I have x plus 2 equals 1 over y. Well, the only way to get this y out of the bottom is to multiply, because this is 1 divided by y. So I'm going to multiply both sides by y, and these y's cancel. So now I have y times x plus 2 is equal to 1. I'm working on getting y by itself. All I need to do is move this x plus 2. This is a whole unit. This is y times everything in the parentheses. So again, I just do the opposite operation, and I'm going to divide both sides by x plus 2. So now y equals 1 over x plus 2. And remember, we actually found the inverse. Okay, so going back to here, and let's just put this in black, it's the final answer. We've got g inverse of x is equal to 1 over x plus 2. So that would be our whole answer. Here is our second example. H of x equals 2x to the third plus 3. And again, I want to find the inverse equation. So just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and think of that h of x as a y and switch places with my y and x. So this is going to say x equals 2y cubed plus 3. And now I'm going to start solving for y. So I need to move the 2 to the other side of the equal sign, the cubed, and this 3. So you start with adding and subtracting first. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. This becomes x minus 3 is equal to 2y cubed. So then you would divide both sides by 2. So I have x minus 3 over 2 equals y cubed. And then you always do the opposite operation to when you're solving equations. So y cubed, the opposite would be to take the cube root of this. This makes the cubed and the cube root, they cancel out, so we're just left with y. But if I take the cube root of one side, I have to take the cube root of the other side. So this ends up being y is equal to the cube root of x minus 3 over 2. And then going back to where we started from, really, this is h inverse of x is equal to the cube root of x minus 3 over 2. Here is example number 3. I would suggest that you take this problem and you try to find the inverse function on your own. So go ahead and pause the video, work this out, and come back and see if you got the correct answer. I will do this one quickly. We would have switched things up. So this would end up saying x equals 7y plus 18 over 2. Multiply both sides by 2, we get 2x equals 7y plus 18. We're going to subtract the 18 from both sides. So then you'll end up with 2x minus 18 is equal to 7y. Now we divide everything by 7, and y equals 2x minus 18 over 7. Just put it back in the form we started with, and you should have g prime of x equals 2x minus 18 over 7. All right, that is all the examples I have for you today. All right, I hope that answered your questions about inverse functions and that you think they're a breeze now. But if you still need help, make sure you ask, because like always, it is okay to ask for help in math. So make sure you do that. Talk to your teacher or talk to me. I would love to be your online tutor. I would just love to be your online tutor. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Bye. Found that without my mic, sometimes I'm just an idiot. Good song.